right. Okay. Three, two, one. Hey, everybody. This is Mr. Haig. How are you? And I'm here again with Truth Seeking Souls. And Jan Venturini and I are going to talk about the way the world is. You know, a lot of stuff are happening, but most people are not interested in doing something about it. I mean, maybe our democracy is being taken away. Maybe our freedom, our right to the First Amendment rights are being challenged. But yet, we're like, yeah, you know what? As long as my stomach is full, as long as I have that ding dong, as long as I have that Michelob Light, I'm good. Or maybe we're just not wanting to do anything about it. And I had just mentioned, love him or hate him, Charlie Kirk really had a lot of guts. I mean, he was brave. He stood in front of a crowd. He kind of stressed his viewpoints, whether you love him or hate him, and he allowed people to stress their viewpoints, love him or hate him. But I have to say that most people are not like that. They kind of let things happen, and it's gonna take something pretty enormous for things to turn around and people to take action.
Well, again, let's go back to the times we're in. Really, quite frankly, Jim, we are in a time of not minor change, not like a decade stepping stone of the past. We're in a time of a revolutionary change. Not, and one of the biggest things that I see is as we're evolving as human beings, we're having to look, and I love that you brought up Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was very definite about who he was. He was not afraid to step out and be who he was. The unfortunate part about our society, and Gandhi stepped out as who he was, and he got shot as well. All right. A lot of people have stepped up to be who they are. And when a person uses a gun, it's because they don't feel comfortable expressing themselves. They don't know how to express themselves. Charlie Kirk was very good at expressing himself. There were things I agreed with him on and things I didn't agree with him on. But see, here's the point. We don't need to throw the baby away with the bathwater. One of the things our society is having to evolve through right now and to grow through is that there are things we can disagree with in another human being and things we can agree with, but we don't have the right to destroy anything because to destroy anything is to destroy a part of yourself. Talk to any man that's been in war, who's had to kill, and they're going to tell you with every death, a part of them died, a
Mhm.
piece of them was gone. So it's not natural for the human to destroy anything. All right. And so I think we need to start speaking to people in those ways. I'll use a situation this week where Donald Trump took money from his tariffs because because the government shut down right now. Did not want women and children to go without the aid they needed that was cut off because the being shut down. So he took money from the tariffs to make sure that program was taken care of. All right, good for him. He did something good. All right. If you're open-minded, you cannot agree because I don't agree with most of what he is, but I totally agree when he does something that's wonderful. To be open-minded is to allow for growth in all human beings, all beings. But one of the things that is going on right now that we need to, I think, really, really look at what is behind it all, right? All of these National Guards go into Detroit, Southern California, Chicago, Portland, Oregon. Okay. What is this about? This is not about crime on the streets. There's no crime on the streets right now in Portland, Oregon, and Chicago, other than what's always there. Is to create more fear in people who normally would vote against the present administration. Is to keep you away from the polls. And that's also why they don't want to have mail-in ballots because
Mhm.
they want you on the streets being afraid of ICE. Like, for instance, how they're handling a Latino man being at the Super Bowl
Mhm.
in Puerto Rico is they're doing it triple up the number of ICE agents they're going to send to the Super Bowl. All right.
Yeah.
All of this is nothing. It's not really about arresting people. It's about promoting fear for dictatorship, for
Mhm.
ownership, for no more free elections, for all. And what I know is that people felt very good about what happened with Jimmy Kimmel, that they cut off, they were able to actually act on something. So what did they do? They cut off their Disney subscription. Disney was shocked at how many they lost. Therefore, they brought him back on the airwaves. So it showed people, if enough of you gather to do something, all
Hmm.
right, and you do it peacefully, you can make a difference. Right now, however, being in a protest can be quite dangerous only because none of our First and Second Amendments are being followed. So you do have to be a lot more careful right now. And I think that's where media comes in. I mean, media is a powerful source for encouraging people to fact check, encouraging people to know truth, and encouraging people to know their rights and to know
Hmm.
what, we actually bought the Constitution, Gary and I, to read it and know it.
So
And
it
I think
sounds like unless people are fearful, so that's what you're saying. Unless people are fearful but sometimes fear can paralyze. I mean,
yes, it can.
I would imagine that these companies act when their money, their bottom line is being threatened.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Well, people in numbers have power. All
Hmm.
right. And they don't have to be violent to have power.
Hmm.
They have to have their voices heard to have power. And the thing is, they've been sitting back, waiting for something to save them. It's kind of like I remember times when people would say, I think of that wonderful joke about the man who's in the flood and he's in his house, and
Hmm.
the policemen come and say, "Let us take you away." He goes, "Oh, no, no, God will save me." Right.
Hmm.
So he goes to the
Oh, yeah.
second story. You know that one,
God
right?
save me. Then he drowns.
And he drowns and he says, God, why didn't you save me? He said, well, I sent two policemen, two firemen, a helicopter. Why weren't you paying attention?
Yeah.
So it's about nothing is going to save you, folks, but you. You are the Lord and Master of your life.
Hmm.
And so if you look around you, you will find something you can do to help yourself move out of that state of fear. And what moves people more out of a state of fear than anything is to contribute to something they believe in.
Hmm.
All right. So when you're doing something that you care about, all right, it helps move you past that. The most important thing, though, Jim, is people to stop speculating on the future and live more in the moment
Yeah.
and to allow freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is actually right now it was the one thing that broke the party free from just doing everything Trump wanted.
So how are people not outraged? Okay, because it seems like if we if we say something against Israel, okay, but just Israel, I can say something against New Guinea. I can say something against Singapore. I can say something against Japan. Nothing's going to happen. But if I say it against Israel, then I'm in deep trouble. So to me, that's still a violation of freedom of speech. And what are they protecting? To me, it seems like this country is parasited by the Zionist regime. It is absolutely
It's interesting how you bring it up because I live on an island
Mhm.
that doesn't speak politics or religion.
Okay.
And you know what's interesting about that? People smile here. People like everybody else here.
Why would you want to move then?
So it's kind of interesting because I observed that when I
Uh,
was in California. I'm not moving, by the way.
oh, you're not.
I could not go back to California. There was too much I saw that I have not ever I haven't had to deal with here, and I don't want to have to start. And but one of the things I was going to bring up with that is it's sometimes it's how you approach speaking with a person.
Hmm.
Like for instance, I could say to my Jewish neighbor, there are beautiful women and children in the Gaza Strip who have nothing to do with Hamas.
Hmm.
And there are beautiful children and mothers and families in Israel who have nothing to do with Netanyahu. Nothing. I care about all of them, and I would like to see a resolution that allows both to be free of a war because of the fact that I don't like to see any family lose their members. And so I think it's how you approach it. And I think now, I think we have to learn a new way to converse with one another. And here's what I really believe, Jim, is that social media advanced us and did beautiful things for us, but the one area that it has harmed us is in communication. The reason being, it's I just had a client that sent a voicemail to me that he said following and it said flying on my voicemail. Well, you're flying, so I'll have to reschedule you. you lose so much in conversation of what you're trying to say when you're not person to person. 70% of all language is physical, what you
Right.
see. So if we're doing only through media,
Hmm.
we're not communicating. And I'm noticing a lot of young people that are very shy because when they're one-on-one, looking into the eyes of another person, it's intimidating,
Hmm.
right? And I finally today understand the born again Christian going into areas of supporting and promoting dictatorship. I finally saw an answer to that really made sense to me. And how it made sense to me is that in many of the Christian churches, they believe that God is the higher order and you follow the rules, and the wife listens to the husband.
Hmm.
So they like to have a leader who's controlling it all. And they call that vertical economy. It's called vertical something. And so that would make sense for dictatorship, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be beneficial for them because
Yeah.
they can control money that way.
Yeah. And they don't pay taxes. So there are many things that need to change. I have a little bit of an advantage because I see a little bit of the opening of the future and I know it's going to all be okay. And I can tell you that
Hmm.
it's all going to work itself out. However, in the future, we are going to be living more with like-minded people. So rather than living in a community with what you can afford, you're going to more live in communities of like-minded people, sort of like on the other side, where, like Gary said, I'm part of the artisan group, and Jan, you're part of the philosophy group. Well, it's kind of like, what would that be like here if you lived amongst people that were more like-minded? All right, so that you could actually build on your philosophy and yet be a part of the bigger society because media will allow for that.
But don't
So
you think that's what they're talking about, a civil war, where it divides a nation in two, so you have like minds that can live with each other, but at the same time, outcasts, the
it won't
not so
come.
like,
It,
you know,
may- it won't come to a civil war, but I do see states threatening to leave the Union. And one of the reasons being is that have you not noticed that only National Guards are sent to blue states that vote Democratic?
yes.
All right, there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah.
Those are the
I don't
votes.
see Kentucky having that issue.
No, those are the votes that will reduce the amount of people in the House of Representatives so that the one in charge will not have full power like he has right now.
Hmm.
So whether you want to create the most fear is you go to the states where you don't have the votes, right? That's what you do. So all of that is not designed for protection against violence. It's all designed to create fear. So the most important thing is to help people, all right, not be afraid to have a voice. All right. That's what this country is about, to give everybody a voice. And so to take that away
Okay.
completely changes our country.
You're gonna have to repeat that again because the thing went off. Say that one more time.
Oh, actually, this country is a country that was founded on freedom of speech.
Sure.
So if you take away a person's voice, and how you move beyond fear is you speak up,
Hmm.
you do something about it. What can you do to not feel helpless? All right.
Speak up.
Yes.
Hmm.
And maybe join a group. Look in your community at somebody that's doing something of value. All right, that you can give your time and your energy to. And don't be afraid to do that. All right, because fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real.
Hmm.
That's all it is. And if you look backwards on your life, you wasted a lot of time being afraid of things that never happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I wasted months trying to figure out how I was going to sell this house and move to California and what I needed to do to it. And I had to paint it and I had to get a gardener and I had thrown tons of things away and I got rid of my big amethyst table only to change my mind. And now I'm not going.
Oh well.
And it was like 1,000 pound weight came off my shoulders
Hmm.
because I hate to say it, but living on an island in Hawaii is not like being in the United States of America. It's totally different.
Oh, I'm sure. Very different. I'm
Very
sure they
different.
kind of see themselves as almost pretty separate from the United States. I mean, from the
They do.
mainland. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we know the history of Hawaii, people don't know it, but
Anyway,
they didn't volunteer to be part of the United States. They were kind of forced in.
oh yeah, and they got rid of their natural way, and there are local Hawaiians that still rebel against that.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah, and I
That
think they'll grow. So, but yeah, I think that taking away our freedom of speech is very good. But my problem is not so much, well, it is a problem. But what I'm trying to say is that people just don't seem to be doing much about it. I mean, to me,
they're frozen. We were talking, I was just, just talking to people about that. Why okay, we have one party that's not representing the people anymore. They're just doing whatever Trump wants them to do.
I think both parties, if
And
you're
then the other one
interested
is sitting frozen, but they finally did something by letting the government close down. But then that was exactly what was wanted, so they could fire a ton of people. So
in,
it's called they win either way.
hmm
But the real situation with that is medical insurance, if we lose Obamacare, is going to triple. People's premiums are going to triple. And
yeah,
so people should care about it. Because if those Democrats don't get the Republicans to give in on renewing Obamacare, we're all going to get hit really hard on medical.
well, I think Medicare is also, I mean, the Democrats are also controlled by special interests. So,
Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm not for Republicans or Democrats. I'm for a whole new way. But I am saying that right now, the only thing that's trying to protect our medical is the Democratic Congress.
yeah.
Not because they're doing things right. I'm not saying that.
Mhm.
I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm for all the people, quite
Right.
frankly.
Yeah.
I just personally don't want my premiums to triple. And
hmm
so I just think I was very dismayed as a very young girl when we took away mental institutions because we have so many things that could be treated now if we had them, then we don't have them. And you see schizophrenics on the streets because they have nowhere to go. It's just so we need to in some areas, be more conservative, and in other areas, be more humane.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's going to take a lot of people sitting down and working that out to
hmm
get that done. And we are at a time where we've outgrown a lot of our old system. We do need a new system. And I think it goes beyond the parties we have right now, quite frankly. And I don't, for one, I'm not willing to join the doomsday party, but I do see warning signs of okay, pay attention to this and just
hmm
pay attention. And I do. I pay attention to certain things and go inside on them. And I'm really I just have confidence in the American people. I just feel because it's a composite of all the countries, we have some of the best minds from every part of the world.
Yeah, but they're trying to kill that too. They're curbing H-1 visas, people who are from other parts of the world. And I'll tell you, that's not a good idea because those smart people, China be like, okay, come on in, we'll use you. Brazil, come on in, we'll use you. But the United States, because they want a certain race to dominate, no, get out of here. You are not welcome.
Jim, we're not going to have Donald Trump forever. That's
No, we're not going to have Donald Trump, really, but we might have his impact for a while.
it's going to take time to unravel, but no one else has the what's to do kind of what he's done. Yes, there's already things in place like the Supreme Court that needs
Yeah.
to be changed.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
there is lots of, but things have a tendency to come to a head when they don't serve the people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting how fast things can unravel. But I see a very sick man right now in the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's physically.
mentally and physically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I see sick leaders around the world, and
Mhm.
that's why
This is the end of the patriarchal reign. This is the end of men controlling everything. And
Mhm.
so, of course, you're going to see men in positions of being totally out of control because when the matriarch movement really gets going, it's going to involve tons of men, but it's men and women working together. It's not the old way of the church where the wife obeys the husband. That's not going to work.
Right.
There's too many brilliant minds in both sexes. So
Mhm.
we need the brilliance from both sides. We need it everywhere. And we need the Aquarian age represents authenticity. And authenticity allows for people to be encouraged to be who they are. And that we don't even know how powerful autistic children are. We are not even encouraging these tremendous skills that they have, that they
Mhm.
can draw upside down. They can they can do things that we can't do, precision without even measuring. And we don't know where that comes from. But we're learning. We're learning through our study of DNA. This is going to be, I will say, Jim, the next 50 to 100 years is going to be the most rapid growing technological time on this planet. It's going to be phenomenal what's going to be discovered.
Oh yeah.
There are things that are going to be coming that are going to be just breathtakingly awesome. And it's going to move us beyond a lot of the old controls of the past. But people don't change until it hurts, until something happens and they can't deal.
You can't handle it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when they say, oh, okay, this isn't working.
Well, I think we're getting close to that point.
We're
Although,
very close to that point.
yeah, it's getting to the point where even, well, anyways, like I said, I think the fear factor, the just, I rather not deal with this factor. You know, I mean, that's why you can have a person beating up a kid in the middle of the park and people just walk by, not do anything, not say anything. Me, I would do something. I would be like, hey,
Well, yeah, I would too.
yeah, I would too. I'd be stop doing this.
But
But
see, that's the nature of the individual.
yeah,
And right now on this planet, we have beings from many dimensions. Not all are human. They are in human bodies, but they're not all human.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
they're
And
very.
so you're going to have people, you think it's bad here, you should go to a subway in New York. You can't even smile on a subway in New York. I mean, there are places in the world that are really much more difficult than here. I don't know. I am a rosy world girl because I just see beautiful things coming, but it's going to get painful first because it has to. The only way people will snap out of their trance and wake up
Hmm.
is to realize if your rights are being taken away, you better wake up and do something about it.
Oh yeah,
All
people.
right. It's necessary.
That's
And
such a cult leader that this guy is. That people are okay with him being a dictator. That because he must know best.
no,
I.
it's not people are okay, is that he threatens their whole family. He threatens their livelihood. All right. And he has the money to do it because he's got the power of the purse.
Hmm.
So he can, it's just like right now. He knows James Coney's not guilty, and he knows Letitia James isn't guilty. They're just his enemies, and he just wants them to have an indictment on their record.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. He doesn't care. He knows. I mean, honorable attorneys would not file charges. They said there was not enough to make a case stick.
Yeah.
So he hired his insurance attorney to take these cases to court,
Yeah. I
right?
don't see. I don't see that going very far. That
To the
cult.
ground. Of course, but they still have an indictment on their record.
Yeah.
Just he was impeached, even though the Senate didn't complete the charges, he still has two impeachments on his record. See, that's what anchors him. Letitia James took him to court.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's James Coney would not bow to him. So, he's got a whole bunch of more on his list and a couple are from California.
Yeah, I
So
would imagine. So where do you see a few years from now if things don't change? What do you see? Like, I mean, first of all, Trump, they want Trump to run again in 2028. I can't see possibly how
this
we
is
might.
what I'm saying. People wake up. You are going to lose your right to vote
Hmm.
if you don't hold tight to voting by mail and work against gerrymandering. Because if the Supreme Court right now has right before it with the there's a law that was put into place that protects minorities so that you can't gerrymander out of these territories to overpower them. And that's before the grand jury in October, as a matter of fact. All right. So it was the Voting Act, it was part of the Voting Act. All right, the Fair Voting Act. All right, they're going to be looking at that. And if they remove that, then they can just gerrymander and just so that Black communities, Latino communities will have no power whatsoever. So if they allow it,
Horrible. That's
that could be
gonna.
a good thing. So
That's,
those are the things you have to worry about because
uh,
if that happens, however, I will say this right now, yes, maybe Congress is going along with Donald Trump, but he doesn't have a favorable rating amongst his people. All
no,
right.
it's declining quite a bit, but I don't think he cares. I mean, what does he got to lose? He's got what?
Well, if they're the ones that get to vote, he's got a lot to lose because they could vote for the opposite party just to control him.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens during the
So
mid,
if the Democrats were very smart,
which they're
they would
not.
go into those areas and they would campaign on what he's taken away from them and
Mhm.
and speak to them and speak to the groups. I mean, I think it's hysterical what Kamala Harris is out there and she's calling them mother, you know
Yeah.
what they're doing to the law
Hmm.
because they're not following any protocol that we've had before.
Hmm.
So, but you know what? Again, you asked me a question about the future. This is the way that everything comes to a head because we have for many years been saying it's really not fair. We vote for Congress people and senators, but once they're in there, they spend all their time just fundraising and not really spending a lot of time representing the people. Okay. All
Hmm.
right. And so it's like something had to pop the bubble. And sometimes it's things that just are so exaggerated that you go, how could this be happening? And it's going to come to a head, Jim. And when it does, it's going to fall apart to fall together, if I can put it that way. It's going to fall apart to fall together. And one of the things I see happening is a different form of representation, a way that really represents the people.
Hmm.
Okay. That totally represents the people. And so I am hoping that Santa Clara puts up and doesn't allow ice inside its park when Bad Bunny's there entertaining, because that's really unfair.
I would imagine you have to get rid of lobbyism first. That's really destroying this country. There's all these corporate oligarchs, pouring money in. That's got to stop first.
Well, first of all, they need to take the
Candidates.
money. The money has to get out of politics. But unfortunately, the GOP voted it in.
No,
That's what,
yeah, you got to have candidates who won't accept donor money, but that
yeah.
makes it that much more difficult. So I would not vote if you take money from another lobby. I will not vote for you because you're.
It's interesting. I like the way Canada does it, where you have a fund and all donations go into a fund and it's distributed equally amongst all candidates.
Hmm.
And
Well,
so
that's what we should be have been doing. That's what
that's,
they did.
yeah, well, you have to take the money out of politics to do that.
Yeah.
But in the future, it's going to be done in an entirely different way
Oh, I
anyway.
certainly hope so. Hopefully something better. But like say China, for instance, there's no lobbying. That's why a lot of countries get frustrated with China. They're trying to infiltrate their government, but it can't happen because there's no lobbying allowed. Like
That's right.
no company, no multi-mega
Well,
billionaire.
not only that, you do realize that a congressman and a senator is not allowed to be a lobbyist once they get out of their position, and yet they're doing it. They
Yeah.
become lobbyists. And so they're doing it. So we have had I read the book, The Ugly American. We've had the Ugly American going on for a long time,
Uh,
meaning that people are not going by the laws. All right. And so what I see in the future is more accountability. But why it happens is more about not being given more rules, but given more consciousness,
mhm.
integrity. This planet is going to be grossly changing in the future.
I hope so for the better.
You talk about a civil war. My biggest concern is not a civil war, but this world might turn on our axis and kick off about 80% of us. So there's a lot, earth changes might be on the agenda rather than civil war.
Wow. So okay, well, some scary thoughts and
So,
uh,
but I'm going to say this to you. I believe that with people actually meditating on resolution,
mhm.
with them doing something to contribute towards that resolution, numbers count. Numbers are the biggest, numbers are so much more powerful than all the dollars in the world.
Mhm.
So you are important. If people only knew how significant each one was, how important they are, and how much they could change things, stop worrying about the future and get your feet moving in the now.
Mhm.
That's what I would say to everybody out there. You
Yeah.
know, get out of your head and get into your feet and move. Do something.
Amazing. So certainly words of wisdom from Jan Venturini. Okay, Jan, we are out of time right now. So, but it's been very lightning. I think we'll have to touch upon this because I do see the winds of changing happening. I think people are waking up, but unfortunately, the media is only telling you only so much on purpose. It's definitely run, but people's consciousness are rising. They're
Yes,
questioning.
very much
They're
so.
not believing everything this media because they know that is corporate controlled. And I think that's a good thing because now we are fact checking. We are looking, we have
Right.
this AI tools that we can actually look for. It's hard to really kind of touch upon those and control those. So I look forward to seeing, we'll continue this discussion for sure. And I look forward to seeing what's going to happen in the future. So with that being said, this is Jim Haig with Jan Venturini, Truth Seeking Souls. This will be on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Okay,
Mhm.
website coming soon, Jan. Website coming soon. So,
Terrific.
and